Holy snapping duck shit.
My good mate from Bub and Run Booker joins us.
I'm excited for another great show tonight. Give it the hoot nay.
Hey everyone, welcome along to Trackside with Kokpit, brought to you by GARAGE16 Kinser Books. It's a Wednesday and this is going to be one hell of a show tonight. Everything you want to know about Paul Vazey over his many years of racing, and everything you'll want to know about the Rees Tour coming up next year. That's what our show is, a special show tonight. But Books, mate, how are you going?
I'm doing well, man. I'm just trying to get everything, making sure it works perfect tonight for our viewers. And temperatures dropped a little bit here. I don't think we're going to get the full cold snap that everyone else has got in the South Island here in the Hawke's Bay. But yeah, mate, she's been a chilly one around the country. That's for bloody sure.
Yeah, definitely. 7 months gone by, August around the corner, and just reading Wayne Odden's comment, 2 months, 19 days, boys, before the Speedway season start. Who's counting the days, eh? Wayne Otten is. Hey, Wayne, good to have you on the show. Steve Palmer, Dave Thomas, Chelsea Almers, Mark Costello, Aaron Ferguson, Brian England, Troy Rusco, Bryce Vazey, and the many more that are watching the show. As I say, it's quite a full-on show. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and I'm a bit tired. I was up this morning watching the Olympics, our 7 skills, and 1:30, win the semi, then the final against Canada, 5:45, I think it was. So I'm hanging in there, Books, hanging in there, but
Mate, I
celebrating.
haven't watched any of the Olympics. I've just been watching the results when I sort of wake up in the morning. But yeah, I mean, and there wasn't much worldwide, I suppose, and a couple of guys worldwide in our motorsports for the Kiwis this weekend actually doing stuff, but that'll be all this weekend. I think there's quite a few representants of our guys. But I saw a post. As people know, we also cover all motorsports. We like to, yep. And we've got the Daybreaker Rally coming up in Palmy in September, and I see they're doing retro. So I see there's some pictures gone up with Emma Gilmore and a few others in retro gear, and doing a retro round, which is interesting. That because we were talking with Scotty Tennant the other week. And he told us how the promoters at Woodford Glen for the Battle of the Stocks are challenging everybody to go retro as well with deliveries and stuff. So maybe it's going to be the year and season of retro, mate.
Well, you can think. You could thank Blair Eulenberg, who brought his dad's old livery from way back in the days, and brought that on there. Obviously, the rims are a bit different, but yeah, why not? Why not follow what V8 Supercars does? The NRL Rugby League do it as well. Super Rugby did it this year as well. So why not get retro? And if you can make a big event like Battle of the Stocks become retro, how cool would that be? One guy who's going to do, actually both of these gentlemen who are going to join us, they can talk about retro cars back in the day.
Yeah,
but, yeah, why not?
Yeah, but even like that, as the hardcore rally people would love it. I remember going back to the Daybreaker. I mean, Pete and Paul probably remember the Daybreaker too, because they're both back in the day Palmy boys, and it was huge back then. So to have some of that old stuff come back through now and see that again, now that they've revived this for the second year, the R2G Rally Group, Paul and Tony T-Mac have got it all going, and yeah, man. But listen, if you're watching and you're around the Palmy area in September and you want to help out, get hold of the Daybreaker team, and because they're looking for volunteers to help. And it's just like our Speedway. If you want to get involved this season, go and see the tracks, get involved and help, because we definitely need more volunteers in all our sports, because without those volunteers, it just doesn't happen. We've got to have the officials, we've got to have the people on the gate taking it. There's just so much involved for volunteers to do, and it's the same for the Daybreaker. We're going to need marshals and helping with the public that go to viewing platforms and stuff. So if you want to be a part of it, get a hold of your local track. If you want to be part of the rally, get hold of Daybreaker, and just offer your services, because it won't go unappreciated at any point.
Oh, I just done a big thing. I've been away in meetings at the last few days, one with council today, and we did a whole recognition of volunteers around the whole sector. We actually got some big volunteer awards coming up to thank everyone, because you can't do anything within your communities around the region without volunteers. These are people who have the love, the heart for many things out there as well. And most of these people, to be honest with you, either on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 committees, they just can't say no. They just do things with the passion of the heart and get out there. If you want to add yourself and apply yourself to Daybreaker as an example, just get a hold of the wonderful team there as well. I tell you what, it is something you will walk away with feeling very proud of. Before we carry on and get into our guests, obviously there was a massive weekend held in regards to Speedway New Zealand. Congratulations to all of the lucky recipients, everyone that was finalists over the whole night. It was celebrated in style, glitz and glamour. But to everyone who took away the awards, congratulations to each and one of you, well deserved, because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And when you talk about volunteers, how many of the people who help work on these cars and everything like that as well. And yeah, well deserved. And also congrats to those who, of course, got put on the Speedway New Zealand board as well. That was a big weekend that was held just recently.
Yeah, and the big thing about that too, like the people have been put on and they've been voted in, and they are now our Speedway New Zealand board. We have a new president in Lani. But I'd just like to say, there's people out there that say, oh, that person's on or that person's on. Oh, that's going to be this, it's going to be that. How about instead of saying that we go into a positive light and we say, hey, we've got a new board. Let's see what they're going to do for our sport. Let's see what they're going to, let's back them and get behind them before we start bagging them, you know? Give them a chance to prove themselves that they're there for the benefit of the sport and the competitors. So just give them a chance, people. Let them get their feet settled and do what they've got to do, because let's face it, overnight they've become probably the most hated people in the Speedway, because they're going to make the decisions that's not going to make everybody happy. But the powers that be have voted. That's your board. Give them a chance. Give the officials a chance. And let them prove themselves before you bag them. You can't bag someone before they've done anything wrong.
Exactly. Look, I've just come from a review of an independent board. I had to narrow things down internationally and nationally, around 51 applicants down to one person. You think that was easy, mate?
Yeah.
Sleepless nights, but someone's got to do it. And you are 100% right. They're not going to make the right decisions, but hey, why not get behind them and support them? And that's all you can do. Go forward, build what you have, work with what you got, go forward. That's it. Don't delve on the past and criticize them. Go forward, build, strengthen what you have. It's the only way I can see it. And mate, with some of the stuff I've just been through around all that and doing the law side of it as well, it's it's interesting times. But bring on the season, mate, is what Wayne say. 2 months, 19 days. Not
mate,
far.
I'm excited. I'm excited for our new season, man. It's going to be epic. There's some great shows coming, some great events coming, and it's just going to be, and some tracks that have got some really good stuff happening too. And of course, mate, the South Island's going to benefit huge this year, as we know, for what we'll talk about shortly. But mate, how can you not be excited? I mean, seriously, shit. Well, why do we have to have an off season?
You got to. You just got to. I can't do what we do for a whole bloody year, mate. Hey, shit. Bloody people bag us enough as it is for the months we're racing around doing what we do.
Mate, I just certain tracks. I miss some of the burgers, my tummy's getting not as big anymore. Nah. A burger and a beer. Or the bloody roadies I end up having on the bloody we're out there now. We're out. But anyway, mate, let's not hold everyone up. Let's bring in Mr. Paul Vazey. Mate, Paul, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How's it all going?
Good, mate.
Good. Hey, you had a few roadies with this fella, haven't you? Down the road. Hey, good times.
Yeah, I think you've been enticed over as well, and I've given you a couple of Cokes on the way through too.
Hey, Paul, we're here to talk a bit about you, obviously. So where did it start, and how the hell did it start that you got to drive laps around the dirt track?
Well, if you're going to talk about me, it won't take long, so it's all good, mate. Hey, I was very privileged in my early days growing up with a stock car family, the Mitchells up in Auckland. My old man was really heavily involved with Graham, building his cars and engines and things with him. Spent his whole life with him. So I sort of grew up as a kid watching all of the stock cars in the old days, and I was like really humbled in the fact that I had a lot to do with the Mitchell family in the early days. And then obviously I went and did my own thing, all on my own bat, and fell into Palmerston North, ended up down in Palmerston North, and had a great companionship with a guy that you all know, Bones Burton, and I pretty much owe my success to him for getting me going down there, really.
Mate, those cars down there, those the two fluoro cars, they set the standard in standard stocks back in the day. I mean, we talked about it earlier on the show. Probably the cars that started the trend of spending the money and making them fast, and because I can remember sitting there, mate, and watching, because it used to be you used to get your races, and then I think your final race for night was with the A grades or supers now. But you guys started half a lap ahead, wasn't it? I think, was that right? And
yeah, there was a few formats. Just to correct you, when we had those cars, we spent a bit of time traveling the country and looking at the cars and all the rest of it. And we just thought, what's the easiest way to build a budget car? And they were budget, to be honest with you. They looked cool. They were different. They were new, so they weren't an old car. But at the end of the day, we built them in a shed, didn't spend any money. I bought a motor from Bulls for my car, and I think it cost me $100. It had done 1,000,000 Ks. I took it back home, pulled it apart, washed it with petrol. I didn't have any money, so I just put it all back together. I thought, shit, I hope this thing goes. And it went good. Unlike Bones, I must add, he obviously spent a little bit of coin. He won't tell us, but he did. But just to make sure the Holden beat the Ford, but it didn't sometimes. But no, we had a great rivalry. But yeah, going back in the day, like no shit, the cars weren't expensive. They weren't expensive, and what it was, it come down to Kiwi ingenuity. So if you knew what you were doing, you had that advantage over everyone else. And unfortunately, those days are gone.
So when are you actually talking about? What decade here, Paul?
This is back in the 90s, early 90s. So I was lucky enough for Bones give me a drive in his car in 1990. I did the World 240s in Palmy, and I was actually leading that, and I had a big rollover. God help us. There we go again. The old whoops it easy, over goes Vazey scenario. 1990 it all started. And I wrecked Bones' car, wrecked me health. But yeah, no, I think it was 94 when we built those standard stocks. So I was lucky enough to be part of the very first ever standard stock teams in Palmy. So we're going back quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah. But what my point was going to be was that I remember you were just about pegging it close then to the pace of those super stocks, with your
we were really lucky. We brassed a few off. You just got to get Scotty on the show and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But in those days, they were all in their heyday with the Panthers and all the rest of it. And we come along with these two little standard stocks. And we got 2 races a night, and they had 3. But then we got invited to join their races, and we started on the start-finish side, and they started on the back straight. And at the end of the feature, Bones and I actually took quite a bit of their money. It was quite good. They couldn't quite catch us. So we only had half a lap on them. And if the track was right and the weather was right, we were just as quick, and we got away with it. So we were making more money than they were. They didn't enjoy that.
See, the 90s, though, Paul, the 90s itself was a hell of a year for the A grades. When you think of all the 90s, some of the names, some of the big names that had grown through the 90s, mate, you were in amongst all of that. And there are some great times down at Palmy, and not just there, all around the country, because the 90s was a hell of a year for the A grades.
Yeah, it was a hell of a decade for all the stock cars, I believe. Like the numbers were huge. Like the guys, you've only got to ask guys like Murray Vincent, like there's a name, Lala, Bryce Steiner, myself, all the guys that were there right at the start when we first started the class. And the numbers that we had initially were huge. So guys go on, like even nowadays with my boys and that with their stock cars, they go, oh, Dad, there's 150 cars or whatever. So we had that way back then, like we had huge fields. And to be honest with you, the racing was hard. Like it was, when I say hard, what you got to realize is they couldn't stop. There was all sorts of things in the cars that weren't like you got now. Like, you're talking standard brakes and parts from, car wrecking yards and things. So they used to go just not as quick, but fast enough that you could get hurt. And when there was a final, there was a final. There wasn't none of this, you're my mate, look after him. It was club after club.
Yep.
And it was hard club racing. There is none of that at the moment, and it really brasses me off.
Mate,
We're the same. We're old school.
I go on about this all the time, man. I ask a lot of drivers about that, you know, because I'm staunch on that too. No one should come to your track and take your title.
Yep.
End of story,
totally.
as far as I'm concerned.
Totally.
But
Totally.
the development of the mini stock class, which let's face it, has been great for the sport. But the only downside to it is they all become mates.
They're all mates. All the young fellas.
And then
are
they
mates.
go through the
There's an
stages.
old
Yeah,
I
they go
can
through the
vouch
stages
for
all
that.
mates. And that stops what we want to see, that club thing, you know. I'm glad there's someone out there in the world that thinks that's got the same thing, because kids, they all say to me, oh, Booker will get wound up about that, you know. But yeah, and I mean, I'm not a driver. I mean, I've had one drive, and Bones, Doug Hones put me up the wall at Palmy, and that was my fucking only thing I ever did.
Yeah.
So and then come down in the pits afterwards and said, you like that, Booker? And had a laugh, and I thought, oh yeah. You know, that's about all my thing. And I wouldn't have the I seriously couldn't do it. I mean, you guys now, the speed and everything those cars go, I couldn't do it. It scared, I'll be honest, it scared the shit out of me. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't have it to do it. So what you guys do nowadays is fast, but so you think that it was a little bit tougher and harder back then, like body wise and hit wise? I mean, I remember you're saying about standard brakes. I remember the scrutineering at the pits in Palmy. You had to go along and you hit your brakes, and if it skidded on the gravel, then they worked and you got past.
Yeah, exactly. What you got to understand too is the safety gear and everything nowadays is way superior than what we had. I can remember racing with no gloves, you know, like all that sort of jazz. No, you know, before they even had neck braces and stuff. So you got to what the people, the young fellas of these days don't understand is they're climbing straight in, full containment. You know, they've got all the gear to start with, so they've never had the experience of racing the old stock cars from the old days, you know, and they go on, oh, you're just a silly old bugger. But people remember, you know, we've sort of progressed all the way through. So what you don't understand and what the general public don't understand is how hard it is for an old bugger like us having to contain ourselves with more and more and more stuff, get more and more claustrophobic, and be slower.
Yeah.
That's what happens. As you're getting older and your reactions are slower.
Yeah, because you're talking from an era of sheepskins and cricket pads, back in the day.
Yeah. If you wanted to be seen in them,
I know what you're talking about. Right, you started down in Palmy. You started in Palmy with the fluoro cars. So when did you transition to head up this way?
I was fortunate enough to win the North Islands in '97 in Napier, and then straight after that I moved up to Auckland. So 98, 99, I think it was. I went up to Auckland, and I wasn't even going to race that year. And there was a lovely lady by the name of Janice and Frank that talked me into getting my car out of the shed the same year. And I think I only did half a season that year because the car was sitting in my old man's shed, and I was just up there being a scallywag and having too many beers and living the life and all the rest of it. So they and going to the club rooms, obviously going to Speedway every night, and then they talked me into getting the car out. So I come out and blow me down straight after that. We're back into the alley cats and the racing and traveling, and just never look back again, you know. So it's just when it's in the blood, isn't it? Like you just do it because you love it.
Yeah.
I'll just do a couple of shout outs to Kyron O'Brien, who's watching, Dave Thomas, Ellie J. O'Brien, Sharon Riddick, Carl Carpenter, Mark Goodman, Tom Scott, mate. How are you? Who else we got here? Kerry Russ, Casey Cheatham, Mike Harvey, Scott Honeybone, Retro. Yeah, that would be mean. Yeah, shut up, Wayne. You want me to come back with my black hair and dreadlocks? Did I tell you that story, Wayne? Bevan Gilgore. Who else we got? Loz from Oz is watching. Ams is watching as well. Cody. Hey, Cody. Hey, big guys. Any of you going to the car show swap meet at Huntley International Speed on the 18th
Mike Harvey, old
August?
Mr. Repco. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I see
Oh,
there's
I'm
because
up-
I see there's a comment there too.
I'm
Like
on
they
that.
were talking. I was talking to Paul before. How I remember they used to if you could skid your tires on the gravel loose at Palmer, you pass your brake test. And old Mike Johnson's got there. I remember turning off the key to stop it scrutineering so it skidded in gear. Eh? I bet you did, if you did that, eh, Paul? You remember that? If you turned the key
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you pass.
These are a few things we won't even tell you about nowadays. just so we can go racing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to be the go though. Way we used to do anything to get on the track, and now there's a few that won't.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. You did. I mean, I remember working in the pits on cars down in Palmy back then. And mate, yeah. No matter what, you wanted to be on that. They wanted to drive. I wanted to drive on Saturday night. Eh? That was the be in and end all of it. I understand now too, though, Paul. I mean, like the things are a bit dearer, I suppose, and people have a lot more life commitments, I suppose, not just the sport as much, like I don't suppose it's, mind you, some of these young fellas coming through do this, act similar with they'll get on the piss and have a bit of fun in a speedway and do it, so it's all part of it though, isn't it, in learning.
But I noticed that you're back out there, you're playing another sport as well. I've seen a few photos pop up on the old social media.
Myself.
Yeah, I've seen those photos. Scooting around, eh?
I gave up a sport 35 years ago or something to do what I do with the stock cars. So I had a choice because I couldn't afford to do both.
Yeah.
And I was probably doing all right. And as a teenager, I was representing New Zealand in the roll hockey.
Yeah.
And I decided to give that away to go stock car racing. Like sometimes I look back and wonder why the hell I did that. But anyway, and after all of these years, I got to thank the Lockett family down in Wanganui for getting me in a vulnerable moment at a speedway meeting, having too many beers to come back and do a Masters championship. So I had to honour what I said because I'm a man of my word. So I went and did it, and now I'm hooked again. And blow me down, I'm actually flying down to Wellington this week and have another go at it. So, but I'm using it as a fitness thing. So if Kelly's listening, I'm just doing it for fitness, not for socialising.
Hey, listen, the other thing too I just want to point out too is that mate, we've seen the Vazey name and Vazey Engineering that over a lot of years now, and the amount that you give back to the sport, mate, I think we need to recognise that, don't we, Kins? Because every time we've done an auction for a good cause, you've turned up with welders and stuff to do it, and I see you're always willing to help other people, mate, and I take my hat off to you with that, because it's not just racing, is it? It's family, it's everything, and you do an amazing job of giving back to the sport, Paul.
Oh, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, we just obviously it's a passion of ours. Kelly being an ex-racer herself, like she's awesome on board, and she can see our family with our boys coming through. Hopefully, they're going to be part of this sport a long time. So why not give to something that you love passionately, and just try and help out some that are a little bit less fortunate, I suppose. We don't give away money or anything. What we do is we try and give away a little bit of knowledge. If people want to take it, they can take it, or product. Like as a business, people will know in business you can't just hand cash out left, right, and centre, but you can certainly help out in ways that you can in your forte. So my big thing is to all those businesses out there that can do that for the sport, get into these bloody auction nights and everything, and let's help the sport. Let's get it going and do as much as we can, because the recognition from these kids' cancer things and all of these health issues that the New Zealand public have got, if we can get them behind that brings revenue back to our sport by getting people's bums on seats in the arenas. I don't care what track it is, and you guys know if they approach us, we help them out as much as we can. We love it.
Yeah, no. I actually like the fact that when I talked to you once, you said it was good, you donated all the gear, and then on auction night, Kelly was trying to buy it all back again.
Yeah, I'm bugging if I know why, but I was throwing things at her across the lounge saying, hey, we gave them that.
Yeah. Oh, Well, I just want to endorse and say what you've just said too, Paul, to everyone that supported us alongside yourself. It's been their generosity that's made Booker and I get out what we do. And we do have another cause that we're working on. And if we work it out right, they could be coming up in November with the Corsi Huntley teams or the Pollock teams invitation. But we still got to confirm a few things around that. Mate, you talked about traveling up to Auckland, obviously. We touched on the roller hockey. You're heading down to Wellington. So when did the time change where you put the R on the car?
That was quite a few years ago, mate. It was obviously I was racing super stocks in Auckland and everything.
Yeah.
And it pretty come down to like my career was probably the most unfortunate in Auckland for super stocks because there was just no cars around. And so I decided I did a lot of traveling. Kelly and I decided we're going to go traveling. We traveled around. We went to Rotorua so many times. Long and the short of it was Sonia said, you might as well come and race down here. You're down here all the time anyway, and there's no cars in Auckland. And so one day when I rang her and said, do you mind if we come down? Because I want to race against heaps of cars, not 4 or 5, consistently. She said, you're more than welcome. And it all sort of came from there and never looked back. I've loved it because obviously when you go to championships and things, if you're not on the pace and if you live in false dreams, you're wasting your time. Anyone will tell you that now, class. It's just it's pretty cutthroat. So you need to be amongst it all the time just to sort of keep on the pace. That's all. So and I thank it for that opportunity. It was sad that I left Auckland because I put my heart and soul into that place for a while. It's a bit of a shame, but you sort of felt like you didn't get anything back out of the joint. So and it was a pretty easy decision for our family.
We asked many drivers and superstock drivers or stock car drivers that join our show here at Trackside. You enjoy the individual stuff, or do you also, once you over the years of race, do you really enjoy the teams racing?
Oh, mate, I've enjoyed teams racing. I've done a hell of a lot of teams racing in the early days and that. I'd still be teams racing now, to be quite honest with you, but my wife won't let me. She's told me for the last 4, I think it was the last time we raced was like 5 or 6 years ago in the Rebels, but I loved it, mate. Like I'd still be doing it today, but obviously as a business owner and with the young kids and that, she doesn't want to take the risk that I might get hurt or whatever, and I can't work or I can't support the kids or herself. So that's a collective decision we had to make. It wasn't the decision I made because I wasn't thinking for all of us. I was just thinking probably a couple of nights on the couch, to be honest with you, thinking, but I still ask it every year and I still get the same reply, no.
Yeah. So what is exactly, for someone who's been racing this class since the 90s, what is it about teams particularly for you that you like? Because everyone we talk to, everyone puts their hand up. 99.9%, they all want to do teams. And this is a younger generation that we've spoken to when we've done teams build-up shows. What is it for you, Paul, really, that you, if Kelly would let you, you'd do teams? What's the whole secret?
The teams for me is the team environment. Like that's why I'm doing my skating again, because it's a team environment. I just love doing it for my mates, for myself, being part of it. The hype, unless you've done teams champs in Palmerston North, I encourage anyone that can ever have the possibility to go and have a go at it, whether you like it or not. To say that you've had a go at it would be just the ultimate. It's something that people don't realise. Like there's a few of us that have done it year after year and all the rest of it. It's still the same. The amount of commitment that you've got to put in. I don't care what anyone says in the sport. The nerves that you get going out the gate, because 9 times out of 10, the nerves are more so, I don't want to let my mates down. That's what people don't realise. Like they think you're going out there and you're nervous because you're scared. Yeah, there's a part of that, but most of it is you don't want to be that one that the crowd's laughing at for pulling on the grass at the wrong time or anything like that. You want to be the one that's out there doing your job, stopping cars, winning races and all the rest of it. And that's the ultimate. To win something individually is totally cool, but to win it as a team when there's only 4 on 4, man, I tell you, unless you've done it, you're not going to understand. It's pretty cool. It's pretty special. So I take my hat off to all of these guys that have been doing it consistently and consistently well. Man, I like just huge admiration for all of them. Brilliant.
Yeah. Brilliant. All right, the comical question that pops up in the chat, I got to ask you before someone puts it in there. Your favorite track?
My favorite track?
Yeah.
Is Rotorua.
We knew that.
Just like
I don't
every
know
other driver in
why
there.
even ask? Why even ask?
If you had asked me 10 years ago, would have been Napier.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I won heaps in Napier in the standard stocks.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know why I said Rotorua, because I won bugger all.
So we'll press on a bit here. So you've had a great time. You've been going along. Well, you've enjoyed yourself with the sport. Made probably hundreds of friends and lifetime mates and family through it. And now we're looking at this Rees Tour as your final farewell as well, mate. How does, like, what, now knowing that the Rees Tour is going to happen and thinking this is going to be my last thing, how's that for you now, mate? How are you feeling now? Is it getting closer, or have you not really thought about it just yet?
Yeah, well, I've been toying with the idea for a few years. If you ask Kelly, I've been retiring for 15 years, and I come back every year. I need a bit of closure myself, because I've put that much into it, and people don't realise your body and your health and everything sort of takes its toll after doing it for as many years as we have, whether you're individually racing or doing teams. You know, I've had some pretty big crashes over the years, and you try and wake up on a cold winter morning or whatever to go to work, and you feel you feel the speedway vibe through your body some mornings and that, you know, and then you start thinking to yourself, you know, do I need to do another year? And I've always felt I did, because of my kids coming through, and I've just, you know, because they're like my last three, they're a bit younger. Bryce and Russell, they're a bit older, so they've seen Dad race, but the younger ones are really enjoying it. So while they're enjoying it, it's hard to pull a pin. But there's a time where you got to make a call that's the right call, and there's a time that I've got to move over and try and do something different and let someone else in the family have a bit of a skid, or you know, take the reins and get them behind my kids and not be so selfish, if that sort of makes sense. Yeah, it's pretty hard. Like I think about it every day. I still, like, even today I'm thinking, you know, like, what am I going to do once I'm done? But hey, we've still got another year to go. We'll see what happens, you know. Like, I just want this year to be fun. Like, honestly, I don't give a shit what happens. We're just going out there to have fun. We'll be at every damn meeting we can be. I thank Pete so much for the opportunity that he's given me to come on his tour. And it's quite humbling in the fact that, you know, like way back when he had an opportunity to drive one of my cars way back in the day. So it's pretty cool. We're just looking forward to having a bit of fun.
Yep. Well, I suppose that segues perfectly in for us to bring Pete in, Pete Rees in, and Pete's here with us now. Pete, welcome to the show. And you've heard us talking away to Paul over the many decades he's been racing, and he's got some good bloody memories, but he's decided to, well, I don't know how many years you've been saying you're going to retire now, bloody Paul, but he's decided to wrap it up on your tour, mate.
Yeah, well, he probably 3 or 4 years ago when we were going to do this tour, he mentioned it, and it didn't work out, COVID and whatever, and dates. So yeah, it's his. He better give up this time around, else we're going to look like idiots.
This is your way of getting rid of us for sure.
It's quite interesting to me that I mean, a lot of people obviously don't know, but it's interesting to me that Paul's going to finish up on your tour.
Yeah.
And the first car that you drove, Pete, was built by Paul, which was JDL Holmes' car. So I mean, that's pretty cool as well, isn't it, to have that total turnaround?
Oh, it goes back a bit further than that. Like when I started in my old Klinger, like Paul said before, they were budget cars. I managed to get on track with the budget. Paul and Chris Ash and Peter Bees, you know, those are the guys I met first. And then, you know, a couple of years down the track, Paul was one of the first to help me out. and teach me, get hit back and help your mates out at the end of the championship. If I got there, I was pretty slow in those days. So yeah, as a kind of a respect thing, it's just fitting that Paul finishes on the tour that we've created.
You must have some fond memories, Pete, of racing against Paul over the many years. Obviously, you competed with the routines, and Paul's laughing there, and we were just laughing, me and Books, because we seen you at Rotorua not that long ago in a race, and then something happened there. Right? Oh, what the hell?
Hey, he cleaned Paul up, even put the brakes on.
His current day car doesn't have brakes because he kept whacking me going in the corner.
I'll just put it out there, boys. Someone's got to hit him, mate.
You turn the key off.
But going back over the years, you must have had some bloody good times. I know you've had a few good times in the pits and everything, but just on the track, brilliant times, eh?
It's quite a way back. Probably, memories there, but man, too much to think about. And like you said before, we lived to go racing that Saturday night. If it rained off, it was devastating for us. Yep. And then after the racing, we lived to go to the club rooms as they were back in those days. So it's way changed now, but they were good times, like real good times.
They were that good. Like we're in the club rooms, we'll be talking about the next team event we could be going to, or the next meeting, or whatever. Your whole life just becomes devout in stock cars. That's people don't realise. Like, not so much nowadays as what it was in the early days. Like, when you woke up in the morning, all that was on your mind was stock cars. Well, that was me and Pete and a few of us in Palmy in those days. And I'm sure with everyone else from that generation, that's all you thought about. Your whole life was stock cars. And unfortunately, there was a whole lot of other life experiences that missed out because we were too selfish in our respective drivers, I suppose, and doing what we did. Pulling our road cars apart to go racing on a Saturday and things like that, and then having to borrow someone else's car to tow it to the track so you could get there and all the rest of it. That's what we did. Like that was the culture. And it's sort of those days have sort of died off a little bit, Pete, I think.
Oh, I guess they have, and we've changed. Obviously, we've got older, but going south, they kind of still do it down there. It kind of reminds you. So that's part of the reason we're going south.
Yeah.
Let's get into that tour now, Pete. Obviously this has been quite a hard slog. You got to make dates work. You got to work with tracks. How hard is it to create the South Island tour?
Well, to be fair, I've been quite lazy, word of mouth. Wasn't to a conference just gone on the weekend. We actually caught up with all of the tracks involved face to face. Had a little bit of paper there. Start the conversation for the coming season. All tracks, all 7 of them, took it on board, and it's work in progress. It can be altered, but the dates are cemented, and it's going to happen this season coming.
I'm pumped for it, mate. Like it's I think a lot of people are, and I think based on the response of the poster we put up the other day saying that we're going to be talking to Rees Tour tonight and dates and everything, I think the country, everybody's excited. I think the drivers and the fans and everybody's excited for it. I mean, your last one was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? I mean, it was a huge success down there for the last Rees Tour.
Oh, it was great. We only did 4 tracks though. 2 shows at Christchurch at the Battle of the Stocks. This time there's 7 tracks, and 2 of them potentially will have 2 nights each. So 9 meetings over 15, 16 days is a big ask, and the tracks just want to host us and show us a good time.
Even though you say you haven't done a lot behind the scenes, and Booker said the feedback around what we've posted on our social media has just been outstanding, overwhelming, to be honest with you. What's the feedback from some of the drivers, or have you communicated with anyone who may want to jump on the tour? What's that been like?
Most of them just wanted dates, and hence we've got them there.
Yeah.
And pretty much from now on, we talk to ferries, we get deals. Hopefully Brendan Lemos coming back on board. I mean, he's been away in Aussie the last few days, so I haven't secured him, but I'm pretty sure he'll be back on. And basically, the tracks organise the day. We just turn up and, you know, we make the show. We help make the show happen with their control. They've done it before. I mean, they do it every week. So, you know, we'll have the little bits and pieces, and, you know, we might have to book a couple of boats and all of that stuff. But, you know, the South Island will host us, and all we got to do is turn up.
All right. So just to clarify for the viewers, Pete, the classes that we're talking about that will go down as part of this tour.
Well, we're talking stock cars, super stocks, and classic stock cars at the moment. Okay. It's been asked to do the modified thing because we end up in Christchurch Modified Invasion, two-nighter. So I've said get us numbers, and 3 of the tracks are a yes straight away. We'll talk to tracks. We've obviously been asked for mini stocks. I think most of the tracks are going to run them anyway, so we'll pretty much get, you know, a calendar and what's going to happen on the day closer to the time. Pretty much what we've got to do is commit to going, commit numbers for each class out of the North Island. They'll top it up with their South Island cars, and then we can make it happen and sort the finer details out closer to the time.
So, well, let's talk about those details, Pete. I know you got your list in front of you, and I guarantee all the viewers that are watching and hanging out for this, who wanted to book themselves, take holiday to be part of this tour, arrange accommodation. I'm not already. I know some have been talking about it. But mate, what are the dates? When does it all start so people can get prepared to head down to the South Island?
Well, we're lucky enough we start on the 14th of March, 2025 in Blenheim. So if this makes sense, off the boat, half an hour down the road, we're at the first track. And then the following day, 15th, is Nelson. And now Nelson want to run 2 nights, so they can actually run Saturday, Sunday. So that'll be confirmed in the next few weeks. Greymouth gets a midweek one on the 18th. And the rain-off date being the 19th. Those guys are lucky enough, and it always rains in Greymouth. It has done since I've been going there. Dunedin gets the 21st, Friday the 21st. So we'll swap those around, Dunedin and Invercargill, because Invercargill want us to do a fundraiser for their local track on the Sunday. So we'll stay for that. 22nd, obviously, Invercargill. 24th, Cromwell, and we missed that race in there last time round, but we did stay there for 3 nights, so they accommodated us, and real awesome. They let us use the showers and all that stuff because we stayed at the track. They've got a rain-off date of the 25th, and then Christchurch hosts the final, which is their modified invasion. So if we can put some modifiers together, we can take them with us. They're on the 28th and 29th, the two-nighter, Friday, Saturday.
There you go, people.
There we go.
Scrolling down the bottom, if you missed what Pete said there, modifieds on it would be awesome. I think that's it's going to be a lot of travelling, a lot of fun, and enjoyable. I even know of people that are talking booking dates with work as well, waiting for those dates as spectators, Pete, to go down and join the tour. So it really is going to be an amazing time, I think.
This whole idea, camper vans last time followed us in, and we arrange that they can stay in the pits with us and you know, be part of the whole group, and they stop where we stop. I mean, somebody today's arranged to stop at a rugby club between Cromwell and Dunedin for a night, and apparently they got eight lambs going on the spit for us.
Oh,
wow.
So, you know, spectators can be part of that as well. So we'll get a bit of a phone list going on and a text list, and we'll just deal with it that way on the 2 weeks.
The other thing too is the Pits TV. Jason, the team at the Pits TV are going to follow the tour around too, and live stream all the events.
Yeah, he's committed. He's a necessary evil, you know. So yeah, he's going to follow us and be part of the show, and those that can't be there, obviously he'll stream to them.
I see Brad Lane's commented here. The current one is it. A few people are already keen on the modifieds. We'll make it work. So if someone's going to make it work, and you guys know what the lanes do when it comes to modifieds, Brad, Pops, and Sam will make it work. And they'll make them turn up, especially knowing that they're going to be at the end on the 28th and 29th of March with the invasion. So,
there you go, Pete. Just a question someone's just put up there too, which would the tracks also allow the tenting, or is it just campers? Do you know?
No, tenting's there. That's on my list. Pretty much opened up to tents, camper vans, in the cars, whatever. But,
cool.
I'd encourage it because a lot of the tracks, when we talked about the cost to each track for this trip, I've just said a donation type, and entertainment, food can be the donation, and that's what I encourage, because then there's no discrepancy with monies and all that stuff. So, the people need to be part of that, the spectators and stuff, to join the entertainment, to get the food and all of that. So, yeah, it's more than welcome.
So basically, this tour just comes down to it's not just for the tracks, the drivers, it's also for the fans too that want to come along and be part of that experience and get to mingle with the drivers a bit more, I suppose, after the race, and if they're tenting and following the tour. So it'd be a great experience for families and everything, wouldn't it?
Oh, hell yeah. And imagine the cost you can save if you can go with your tent, chuck it in the back of the ute. You're not paying for motels and all that stuff. So it's all about a 2-week trip. We can see our own country. We can race at decent tracks with decent people, volunteers and all that stuff, and make a big show of it.
Sounds good. Looking forward to today, Books. You and I are amped. We can't wait. And man, come March, bring it on.
I'm gonna get Vazey to carry all my beer.
That was the reason we invited you, wasn't it? You're bringing it with you. You're going to bring that trailer behind the camper.
Yeah.
He's got it sorted.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of beer to go around. That's
mate. I think it's going to be a great time, and myself and Kins are going to be there we'll do some after hour stuff with people and just let people see the other side too, the fun side, the relaxed side of the sport. Not the the drunken side, but the like if there's families there and doing it, me and kids might organise fun things for the kids to do and have races and shit and just do that sort of stuff just to make it a bit more, I just think
as like the Speedway families, the kids, like my kids, they're out there till midnight running around on the track.
Mate, that young fella yours just didn't stop running, did he?
No, but that's what it's like, we all did that as kids. So I encourage it with my kids, and I encourage people to come along and have a look and see behind the scenes and everything, because everyone's just human, mate. Like, they've got their favourites on the track and they've got their ones that don't, the ones that they dislike and all the rest of it. But come along, have a beer, enjoy it, have a feed, come and talk to the drivers. And what an awesome place to do it, the South Island.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, we were... Sorry, Kins, go.
Yeah, you go.
I was just going to say to Pete, like last year we did a build-up with to the season, and we talked to all the track promoters around, and we started in the South Island, and we were talking the tour then because you were trying to sort of look at doing stuff last season for it, and they were every track we spoke to was so keen to jump on board with this tour, and they've shown it now this coming up that excitement's there for those promoters and tracks as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is, and they probably deserve it. I mean, they're probably financially struggling compared to a lot of other tracks. So our aim, if we can help top up their bank account and we can get a good time and spectators enjoy the show, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. So there we go. Around 14th through to the end of March, basically, is what you got to book it. Actually, no, you got to book it, I'm guessing the 13th, maybe 12th, 13th, so you can travel down to Wellington and bloody fingers crossed those ferries are working, booking they don't crash, eh?
Oh,
So we should be good.
it's the bloody boats we'll be worried about. But yeah, it's I might go over a bit earlier and just sit there and wait for everyone to turn up. So get out of the rush. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be fantastic, and I think it's great. I think it's a fantastic way for you too, Paul, to finish off your career of such a fun event and fun time.
Oh, mate, yeah, I couldn't wish for anything better, to be honest with you. That's what I'm saying. I'm humbled that bloody Pete's invited us along. You know, like at the end of the day, I could have been like so many others and just slipped out of the scene. So for me, it's pretty cool. And like I've said to Pete, I'll do something for the competitors myself, you know, on my own back. We're going to have some fun bloody giveaways or something, or trophies or something. We're just going to make it fun, mate, and just make it a family environment, you know, because obviously that's what I've always wanted it to be, you know. So if I can do that myself and sort of help out in any way to all these other tracks down the South Island, I'm always going to do it. I've always been down and helped Nelson, you know, supported Nelson with the Stampede and all the rest of it. So obviously I committed to going back. This is one way I can commit to going back, and hopefully see all the other tracks and give them something from us as the Vazeys, you know, like as little as it is. If we're there, we're helping. You know, that's the way I see it. So just by turning up and being another number, then obviously that's going to contribute towards getting the sport that we all love going. And if we can do it on these tracks that don't normally get to see these cars, you know, and the numbers that we're talking and the quality that we're talking, then shit, to be a part of that, you've just got to take your hat off to Pete for doing it, you know, like, so yeah, we're 100% we're in.
Yeah. So have you told Asher he needs to put in a leave form to be able to go, or what, with his boss?
Yeah. He's got plans of his own. He's going to try and get that Tom Harris over, the world champion at the moment from England.
Yeah.
Well, Tom can't come over for the 240s, so we've got a spare car for him.
Okay.
And he's got plans. I'll tell you, he'll be doing the battle the week before the tour starts, so he technically needs 3 weeks off, or 3 and a bit weeks.
Yeah.
So hopefully by then we've caught up and we can, well, he can take that time off, because I will be.
So you're talking he's trying to get Tom Harris to come and actually do the tour. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's his idea. We'll cover his costs to get him out here. The whole tour, we've got spare cars floating around. So, you know, the other guy, the Gilbert, I think it is, who bought the 27H pilot car. Yeah, he's going to be out here for that. So, you know, we're going to have some guests following us around. And Marty Jones, he's offered his car to a guest driver at each track.
Yeah.
Off the back if it has to be. So, you know, we've got a few things to entertain us all coming up as well. And as time goes by, there'll be more and more things we can think of.
That's awesome.
See, Brad Lane's put a comment in there. Might have to sort out a modifier to get Tom Harris to have a few laps in the modified as well while we're on the tour. And Brad will sort something out there.
That's what we want to see, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mate,
That's cool.
The more you keep telling us of the stuff you've got, I think it's going to be a great tour. And I think to those watching, if you're not already on the internet after this show, surfing the web for accommodation and tickets and organising your going to work tomorrow and booking time off, you're mad not to. It's just going to be an epic fun time, eh? It's yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So we've got to fundraise ourselves to get down there, me and Kins. So, but we're going to get there and have some fun and do it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just it's good to see it happen. I mean, I think it's something that really has been needed to happen for a while now, and I think it's going to be great for the sport, to be fair. Not just the South Island, but I think the whole sport in general is going to benefit from this tour. Kins.
Oh, yeah.
That's a no-brainer. Especially helps the South Island. It helps us guys as well. I mean, the quality down there keeps us a bit sharp, and Paul and I are struggling with our speed lately. Well, he's struggling putting his foot on the brake.
Yeah, you're not worried about brakes, so your ones work really good.
And those tracks in there are real unique. I mean, we've done all of them now, I have. I did
Yeah.
Cromwell back in 2011, I think, or 7, before I went to England. It's changed a bit now, so I really want to do that one this year, but we've done all the rest. Cool tracks. Dunedin was a standout cool track for myself.
Yeah.
Invercargill was cool. Couldn't beat the after function either at Invercargill. I mean, but they let us drive around the streets with our stock cars through the lights and all that stuff. It was pretty unique, and like I say, it's kind of from where Paul and I come from 30 plus years ago. We're heading back down to that same style of entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
quite a
cool.
big month
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
March. When you take a look at Gisborne, they've got the North Island Superstock Champs, 29th of Feb, 1st of March, and a few weeks later you head down the bloody south. It's just a huge month. What were you going to say, Paul? Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, it's like back to the days where you didn't have phones and bloody internet and computers and all the rest of it. All you had was stock cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, books.
And-
I'm gonna walk around the tracks down there, books with the sheepskin and cricket pads on, mate. I'm gonna go retro.
You
I'm going
you
retro.
were saying about nostalgia, weren't you?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be able to grow a mullet before then, but we're going to go.
Oh, should we put that out there? The best mullet by the end of the Rees tour gets a prize.
Hey, the boys, like just on another note too, like the boys that I got at work, Jamie, you know, in particular, that you guys know that cruise for me and all the rest of it. That it's very hard in the sense people don't realise, you know, like we're as business owners and car drivers and all the rest of it. Most of us take our, like I was listening to you with Asher, that we take our crews and our friends and all the rest of it. And when you're like me, I've got a whole workshop full of stock car, you know, junkies that love it. I've got Corey that races a street stock and does really good at it, you know, so we're in behind him as well. So when you have tours and things like this, people don't realize, you know, it's sort of, it's just not a fact of booking holidays and going. For guys like myself, the whole place shuts down for 2 weeks, you know, because being my last year, I want those guys like Rick Campbell, you know, working for me in the office, guys like that, the nostalgia there is humongous, you know, like, so I want those guys around us on our last trip as well. So I'm going to do my utmost with Kelly to try and do what we can to get all these guys around us on our last tour, because it's going to mean a lot, you know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, definitely appreciate the fact that if we're shut for 2 weeks, we ain't doing any work. But I will worry about that at the time. But yeah, no. And you can't thank those guys enough for what they do. You know, these times when I go racing and they've got to stay and sort of hold the ranks for us, you know. So I'm going to have to try and give it back somehow. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome,
That's
yeah.
cool.
And it's going to be great that, I mean, even like those that can't make it are going to be able to watch that tour. Not the real good, not the after stuff that we're all going to see they're there, but with Jason and the Pits TV doing those streams, and we know the streams are going to be good streams. It's going to be great for everyone to be able to watch. I think, I mean, Speedway in the North Island is going to come to a halt just about, you know, everybody's going to migrate down there. It's great to have Pits on board as well, streaming it and doing that side of it as well, Pete.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I said, Jason's one of those people you've got to kind of have around because of his, you know, his know-how and what he does for that streaming. So he's committed. He's excited about it, actually. I know he's going up to Gisborne 2 weeks prior to the tour to do the North Islands, and you know, I know he's going to be at the Battle of the Stocks the week prior to the tour. So, you know, towards the end of the season, he doesn't get any quieter, and neither do we this year because, you know, come March, we normally start to relax and think about the off season. But we've got a full-on March. We've got teams in February. So she's a big one coming up this year.
Yeah, she's a huge one, you know. Hey, Pete, you got to love the internet. You got to love what Jason does, the old Pits TV, You got to love it, mate, It's good for you.
Well, if he buggers it up, I'm going to blow him up.
I'm surprised Jason hasn't commented, actually. I'm sure I would have thought he'd be watching, say a few comments to us, but
bloody good. Bloody awesome.
I think I've got one of the only seats he could fit in, We could set him up there.
Oh, you reckon put him in your car for a couple of laps, eh?
Or
I
yourself,
reckon he'd
Books.
do it too, old Jace. I reckon he'd hop in.
What about you, Books? Would you hop in and do it?
Only if I was going slow.
Start at
We'd
the
have to use my quarter power to get him out.
I'll hop on the other side because you don't have those bars on yours. They're illegal, aren't they?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, got around that.
Oh, he wouldn't get in mine. I got a body, mate. He wouldn't get in my car.
No, it'd have to be pick me up and slide me in.
Muddy reckons I should wear the beige brigade shirt. If I can find one, I will. I'll cruise around the track. Yeah, do it. The retro liveries. Yeah, I might do a bit of that. Aaron Moore, he's already got his mullet. He's got his mullet going on at the moment. He'll keep it for the tour. Brad Lane said he might even be tempted to grow his back after he had to get it cut off after becoming back-to-back one NZ.
Yeah, that's right.
Bev's asking, can we get tickets at the gate for each track? I would guess so. It'd be at the gate. I'd say so.
What was that one, Kins? That question?
Tickets at the gate for each track. You know when they're traveling.
I don't think they'll be online tickets, will they, Pete? It'll be all at the gate.
No, they're old school. Tickets at the gate.
Yeah,
I know last year they sold, or last time we did it, the meeting sold out and it was pretty packed, but I don't think anyone missed out.
Look, Bianca's watching here.
I just see
Put
what
Jason-
you put. I've read that out, kids.
Put Jason in a giant blow-up soccer ball and see if he can bounce him over the wall.
That's a good one. I'm not sure they got health and safety down there, so we should get away with that.
Cromwell's are online. Well, Cromwell's got ones online. Buy it online.
If I can say, there's a lot of people asking me how to commit to it. So last time we did this in 2017, we had a small commitment fee of $100 that was 100% refundable after the ferry. So everyone got theirs back. It was more so the track's new numbers.
Yeah.
So if you keep an eye on my Facebook page, which has been dormant for quite a while now, a year or so or plus, we'll start the booking in a similar way. I haven't thought of it yet, but we'll start taking the orders for all the classes, and hopefully the modifiers can get numbers and be part of it as well in the next week or two. And then from there, just keep an eye on the Facebook thing, and we'll have ferry discounts, hopefully from Tony Hurst, who's coming on board, and so on. We'll just do it through the Facebook.
Cool.
We're good.
That's awesome. I see Devil McNair's put, shit, Vazey, you taking Rick Campbell with you? I'm going to have to take an extra week off work to detox.
Yeah, that's that angry man, Devil McNair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there'll be a few of us detoxing after this trip.
Well, yeah, Pete, are you going to do any merchandise for the tour, like tour shirts or anything like that?
I was actually thinking of that, so if we can get someone on board with the help we need for that, I was thinking we might be able to trade off shirts for their commitment fee if they want it. So yeah, it's work in progress. Any ideas is much appreciated. Flick me a text, or even if you want to help, let us know.
I'll talk to you next week when I'm down there, mate. I might help you out with those shirts, see if we can't figure something out. A tour shirt, I think, with the Vazey finish and everything on it would be quite cool.
Yeah, well,
yeah. So we might look. I'll help you look at that. Actually, I've got some ideas popping through the head, so we'll figure something out there. I think that'd be a cool. I think they'd sell those. Would sell out too. To be fair. Well, someone here said put Pete in a modified.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go in one of them. They're actually quite a cool class.
Yeah.
I prefer a mod over a sprint car.
Okay.
Oh, there you go, Brad Lane. If you bring your
Brad
modified,
Lane,
we'll squeeze Peter Rees into it.
and the other side of this, and the other side of this, why not swap Pete and Paul in their cars for one last trip, switch it around, swap cars over, eh?
Yeah, well, Paul does want to have a skid, and I think Asher drove his at
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So yeah, and he gave us good feedback. So yeah, I mean, anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be all about the fun and enjoyment, isn't it? Family fun, enjoyment. I mean, that's the whole tour, isn't it?
I'd seen the part of the country we never get to see.
Yeah.
I mean, last time we all went west to east up the viaduct after Arthur's Pass, and we got stuck. Ethan and I got stuck down up the hill, and we shut the whole road down for about an hour and a bit, and we made the news down there. Apparently that was good fun for us, but not so good fun for some people travelling behind us.
Hey, look, already people want to buy shirts, Pete. So people are asking it. We'll be buying shirts. Talk to
There you go.
Karina
Brad
Andy
Lane
about
said he's
shirts.
keen to swap, mate.
Sounds like a plan.
Hey,
What, swap shirts or cars?
cars, swap in the cars and hop. Pete in the modified and Brad Lane in the super stop. Hey,
Very good. I'll wave the flag.
oh yeah.
This is going to be fun. Who's got that one there? Talk to Karina Annan, shirts and everything.
Yeah, Rapid
Oh,
Raceway. That's who does our shirts. Who's doing our new
That's all our
shirts too.
stuff, yeah.
But yeah, that's why I say I might have to. I'll talk to Pete when I'm down there next week. So get something.
Oh,
happening.
Muddy Goodley says I might have to sketch up a special shirt design. Look, already people are starting to do a few designs. There'll be a many of them that would want to do designs. I can just picture it right now.
Yeah.
Any last words for you, Paul? You got anything else you want to say before we wrap things up with you?
Hey guys, I'd just like to thank for what you guys for what you're doing. Obviously for the sport, Pete for inviting me on this tour, which we can't wait as a family. We're looking forward to it. Gives me a bit of closure, in a long career, I suppose. But thank you to everyone else that's helped me in my career. Jamie and the boys at work, my family, my boys, my wife especially for letting me do it for so many years. She's been immense, and hopefully she lets me spend a bit more money this year so I can go a little bit quicker. We'll see what happens. I had to thank her, otherwise I got no bloody tyres. So there's going to be a lot of tyres. Just like everyone in general, mate, in Speedway, as you know, I love the sport, and my heart's been in it all my life. So I'll still be there. I'll still be there doing something with Carl. When he's coming through, he's in this mini stock now. So you ain't seen the last of me. Obviously, I'm going to be around for a lot longer, hopefully, behind the scenes, and maybe be able to help in some other roles. I don't know. I've always been pretty vocal in what I think about everything. So watch the space. We'll see what happens.
Definitely.
No,
Anything else you want to wrap up, Pete, before we wrap things up here tonight?
Oh, I really want to thank the track, the promoters, and all the volunteers that are going to help it happen. Some of the tracks are a bit worried, the midweek stuff, Cromwell and Greymouse, but I know they'll make it happen, and hopefully we can take scrutineers and stuff with us to help them out. Apart from that, if you don't see updates on my Facebook, flick me a text and give me a bit of a rack up. We are in a busy time, but we've got to get this sorted because it does take a little bit of sorting out. And really just the tracks, and I suppose you guys and that necessary evil Jason from the pits.
Oh, I gotta love it. We'll end it on that note with that necessary evil and wrap it all up for the night. And thank you both for coming to join us. Thank you to all the viewers that have been asking all the questions, and you've got the details here where things started with Paul way back in the day, and part of the farewell tour, and Ed, of course, released the dates of what you can look forward to. March 14th through to the 29th of March is the date you need to put aside. Everyone head on down to the South Island.
Yep, we'll just go straight from this to the Adkins and finish the show. So I'll just say to everybody, enjoy your week, be safe. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, we've got the first two tracks of the tour coming on to talk to us about their involvement and what their seasons are coming up. So we have
Blenheim and
Nelson coming on. So Nelson will also be talking New Zealand Supers. So we have them next Wednesday night, and we're going to go through all the tracks on the tour. They're all going to join us, hopefully, and talk about their involvement and how excited they are. So tune in next Wednesday for that. Paul, Pete, thank you very much. Everyone out there, have a great week.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Holy snapping duck shit.
My good mate from Bump and Run Booker joins us.
I'm excited for another great show tonight. Give it the hoot now.